It's a great privilege to welcome Misha Bruegger-Gosman back to Yorkminster Park. I say back because you were here in December, and I want to thank you for that. It was marvelous, and we raised more money for the Church on the Hill Food Bank than we ever imagined. So thank you, and I know that your presence and song made a difference all across this country. Misha is a Canadian legend, but really beyond that, far beyond that, because she's sung in the great concert halls and opera stages of the world, and on radio and television. She's a recording artist, and her song is a blessing. And it's such a privilege for us to welcome you back to Yorkminster Park during Black History Month. I know you've come from Nova Scotia, and that's your heritage is in the Maritimes. So it is Black History Month. So tell us a little bit about your own family history.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. It's a blessing. Thank you for forging forward in this season and reaching people. And I don't think it surprises me that so many people are so eager to give. And it's so important that the church and the community provide those opportunities. So it's kind of a mutual love society here, because I'm thrilled to be here and you're thrilled to have me. So I was born and raised in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Now, my ancestry is Black loyalists, so I am descended from that small group of Black slaves that escaped their slave masters in what would become the United States at the end of the 1700s and went and fought for the British, were promised emancipation and land in, one of their territories, in this case, the east coast of Canada. So when the British lost their final stronghold in the War of Independence, my ancestors came north on the Concorde, the British ship, the Concorde, and their names are written for those of you who've read the Lawrence Hill book, The Book of Negroes. My family's ancestors are written in that book. And so I come from a very courageous people. There weren't many, and those who didn't manage to escape their slave masters were murdered, hanged, burned. All manner of examples were made of any attempt to claim their freedom. So I am so proud to come from such strong stock. And in my life, death has tried to come for me a couple times in the form of a couple of emergency open heart surgery, and I know what it is to persevere. And knowing that about my past is a huge gift to me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. You mentioned New Brunswick, Brunswick Street Baptist Church, where some of our people are from.
Right?
Your father was a deacon there. Your father went on to be ordained. I met him once. I was down at Acadia, and he came and he actually said to me, do you know my daughter?
Right?
He did.
Oh my goodness. And now that my wonderful father is reunited with his maker in glory, it's incredible how his legacy, it's Pastor Sterling Gosman, I just want to speak his name, in the Kentville, New Minas, Wolfville area. It's in the valley of Nova Scotia. My dad, he was the pastor of visitation for New Minas Baptist Church.
Right.
And so he was in the community a lot, and it's an honor to now be like his daughter, because I think for a long time he was like Misha's dad. I am definitely claimed by him and his legacy.
So Misha, you were raised in the faith. Tell us a little bit about, and you'd mentioned the challenges you've had with health and other things. Just tell us a little bit about your own faith and
well, what I think is really important for people maybe who are wondering about this whole Jesus Christian thing is that faith is like it's a perspective, it's a lens through which you see, hardship and challenges and other people and what they're struggling with, to see and pray to see with the eyes of Jesus and to understand the real power of the Holy Spirit at work within us and the unmerited favor, the grace that we're all washed in, for me is an incredibly humbling way to live. It makes me more loving, it makes me more patient, it makes me more calm when everybody else is going crazy. I think we have access by faith to a level of peace which has become incredibly useful in this season in particular. Certainly is the Christians among us the ones who aren't spouting hatred and claiming Jesus. Those aren't the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones who are giving more, are showing up, are consistently offering love and support, because people are dying. And so my faith, and they're dying of the opioid crisis. They're dying from depression and anxiety. You know, mental health is taking so many of our brothers and sisters, and my faith has really buoyed me through circumstances where I should have drowned. Like, I should be long since dead by now. And to quote my favorite two words in the Bible, but God entered in and saved me, and therefore I, you know, kind of live in that truth. I am motivated by that, and I pray to stay motivated by that, because then, you know, Misha gets out of the way and God enters in, and all of a sudden, like, we're in a better place. So,
Misha, if someone, just going back to your own story, if someone's going down to the Maritimes once all of this COVID-19 is over, and they want to learn a little more about the history, what's the best museum to go to?
well, we've got a couple of options. Thank you so much for asking. If you're in the Halifax area, you can definitely go see the Africville Museum. It is an incredible place that memorializes a people group that were systemically pushed out due to racism and government sanctions that just discriminated against them. But they are there, and it is a wonderful place to go learn about that incredible legacy. If you want to go to Birdstown, which is a beautiful spot in eastern north Nova Scotia, I'm like kind of pointing to the Nova Scotian shape, and you have the Black Loyalist Heritage Center there. There's such a richness of Black history in Nova Scotia and in the Maritimes, and I'm discovering more and more of it every day, so thank you for asking.
Thank you for being with us. I think there's a little music in the air.
There might be a little music in the air.
Bless you. Thank you.
Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. Over my head, I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere.